Greetings, ladies and gentle readers. Well, I didn't just finish, but I recently finished Book of the Dead Awakening, a lit RPG adventure. I've been reading a lot of lit RPGs recently. You might have been able to tell. And I'll just come out and say it. I enjoyed the book. I thought I wasn't. I don't know why I thought I wouldn't. There's just something about it. I think this is what made me assume going into it I wasn't going to like it. The description: his bright and promising future as the scion of two famous monster hunting slayers is promptly torn apart. He must make a decision. So I thought, okay, it's probably going to be a book where he's overpowered. He comes from like really, really strong people, so he has probably like all the money to throw at all of his problems. And I just like could not be any more wrong than everything that I assumed there. Because I also, when I go into a new book, I do admit I don't like scroll down and immediately read all the reviews because it's hard to say which ones are not gonna have spoilers, and I'm a little bit hesitant about that, right? A little bit hesitant. So I didn't really know what it was about. I thought that's what it was about. I picked it up, and yeah, completely wrong, completely wrong, completely wrong. So essentially, yes, he has powerful parents. Okay, fine. He has powerful parents. Uh, as a result, he has big shoes to fill because there's the system given to you by the unseen. That's what they call it in this book. And there's ish. I mean, I think they do call it a dungeon break or something. Some kind of break, anyway. Not really dungeons per se exactly. It's just there's like an overlap between his world and other worlds. They sometimes like come together, and if they're fused for too long, then everything in the other world can spill over and wreak havoc in his world. Like that's essentially the mechanic, right? Pretty cool one too. Like as far as explaining, monsters and what have you coming into your world and leveling up against the things, that's yeah, that's a pretty good way to explain it. Pretty good way to explain it. So they're his parents. They go out and they're like the strongest people in the history of ever, and they deal with all that stuff along with some other people, but they're like the big cheese. But that said, he doesn't just like coast on their achievements. Case in point, it says here, yeah, he receives an outlawed class because it goes through the awakening thing, and the system, or the unseen in this case, gives him his class. But the unseen isn't human, right? It just evaluates, hey, what's your personality like? What are the things you want to do in life, I suppose, and what have you been doing up until the 18 years where you get here and then make the decisions. And it's like, all right, I think you're fit for bam, that one. And since he's got like big shoes to fill, he's like working extra hard, trying to be like extra skillful. So he gets an extra rare class. Just happens to be one the rest of humanity has now found distasteful, which is obviously book makes no qualms of telling you it's obviously a necromancer because he's pretty smart. He's got a knack for magic, courtesy of his mom, and he not really sure where the whole how that translates into being a necromancer thing comes along. But somehow between that and wanting it to like do your own thing and be your own person equates somehow into you get to raise the dead. Yeah, it's a little weird, little strange. Not sure how where the overlap is, but this yada yada. It's fine. It's not like he's like some creepy kid who's been playing with bugs as a child and likes killing things to see like how they tick. Then I could be like, oh yeah, that's a necromancer if I've ever heard of one. Yeah, I can see why he unlocked that. But he's not that kind of a thing. He's just like someone that liked being out at night and studies a lot and he got a penchant for magic. So it's a little weird it went the way it did. It kind of hints that, oh, the other reasons why it went there is for other reasons that we don't know yet. Because someone's like putting their finger on the scale or something. I think the author might not really know that either, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. The exact reasons are irrelevant. That is the reality. That's who he is. What does he do with it? Well, luckily, the humans have found ways to purge the unseen's decisions from their soul, but to do that, you're crippled forever and ever and ever, and you can't really be like the peak of humanity if you do that. So he goes on, he obviously nopes out of there, goes on the run. Very, very minor spoiler there. He obviously isn't going to stick around in town where everybody wants him dead. Like, it literally says that that he's essentially an outlaw. Right? So obviously the outlaw's got to go on the run. Now, what's kind of interesting is it is not tropey in that he's like, ooh, I got an evil clash, and then I'm going to be evil, and I'm going to make all of these people who want to take it away from me pay. It's not that kind of a book. He's like, okay, this has got the potential to be a pretty strong class. I want to help people regardless of what they want to do to me. I'm going to find a way to make this happen. So cool. I actually like that. So you've got like a dark light kind of thing going on here. Like, yeah, he's got to do some pretty grotesque stuff to learn his class, but he wants to do those kind of things so he can make a difference and help people, which I think is pretty cool. I like it. There is one downside that is going to be spoiler heavy that I'll talk about later in a minute. You'll know when, don't worry. But yeah, overall, I liked it. Like, things didn't just immediately click for him when he got the bad news about the class and like his whole future was crumbling before him because he wanted to be like his parents, a hero in everyone's eyes, super powerful, yada, yada, yada. He didn't just like, bam, turn on a dime and be like, oh, well, that's not going to happen. But no, I know exactly what to do. Like, it's not like that. There was a period of denial that he had to go through to, like, wrap his brain around it. He had to figure out how or if he was going to go along with it, if he was going to turn himself in. He had to wrestle with the moral choices of, well, I can dig up people and just kind of go with it and hope I can help people later, but I gotta take this shovel and dig up old Bob over there. Sorry, Bob. So yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought it was good. And sure enough, his world is kind of going to crap because in the background they're dealing with more of these like little breaks occurring. So they need all the help they can get. He meets other people who do help him a bit, but he has to kind of stay under the radar because if they found out, then yeah, he'd be yeeted out of there and it wouldn't be great. And there's a little bit of a twist at the end that kind of ties into the beginning as well, because we see some behind-the-scenes factions also at work. And they take an interest in Mr. Evil Classman, but you know there's going to be friction there because Mr. Evil Classman isn't being all super evil like you'd expect, right? So I think in book 2, we're going to have an overlap as like the faction's expectation doesn't meet with the character's reality. So there's some subtle things there too that give rise to, I wonder what's going to happen in book 2. I kind of like it. Either way, if you like lit RPGs, if you like something that you really haven't read before, yeah, Book of the Dead, Awakening by whoever this guy is. Why do so many authors just like not use their name? It's so weird. Instead, we have an author, who knows who or where they are. I don't know. They just don't want themselves to be known, I guess. It's fine. Either way, I do need to talk about something that I kind of didn't like in the spoiler section. Very, very short. I mostly liked it, but this is going to be spoiler heavy right now. So if you are not wanting to hear spoilers, then time to leave. You're not leaving, still staying. Awesome. Okay, so Book of the Dead spoilers. Side characters. Didn't like most of them. Well, I liked one of them. Didn't like the ones that we were first introduced to, and I'm a little bit nervous about where the author is going with that. Because he has two friends, or two, three? Is it three friends? Da, da. Three friends. I think he's got three friends in the beginning of the book. One of them is, your classic sociopath. He just wants to get stronger, and he's going to use everybody around him to try to get stronger. Typical, bad guy arc. Sees himself as, fighter character, Mega Chad. And Mr. Mega Chad is getting all the women. Which is weird, but okay. Mega Chad's getting all the women because, he's a fighter and he's Mega Chad. Including both of the main characters' friends. Okay. I think one of the characters is supposed to be we're supposed to be sympathetic to, but I am just not. I don't care if she lives or dies, and I kind of hope she does die, to be honest. But yeah, she's supposed to be like a priestess sort of character. She, all her life, she wanted to devote herself to like the goddess of purity for healing and whatnot, because apparently that's her wheelhouse. And yeah, that was the thing that she wanted to do her entire life. This work is complicated, and I think there was a rewrite because it's a little weird. In the first half of the book, the side character who wants to devote her life to purity and healing and helping people spends a lot of time with these people. So she should know what characteristics is required of the priestess, right? Should know all of that. In the beginning of the book, we're told that she has to keep herself pure in order for the goddess of purity and healing to take her into the fold. But she throws that away for some boy that she meet, for Mr. Mega Chad, who's already got a girlfriend or whatever. But Mr. Mega Chad has to be Mega Chad, so she throws all that away for to be banging him on the side, which is a little strange because in the beginning that's gonna disqualify you from being with the goddess of purity's, voice on earth, essentially. So I'm like, okay, so she wants to be this. She threw it away, apparently a long time ago, and over again, because, can't resist Mr. Mega Chad. And then you're shocked that you weren't picked to be the voice of the priestess, that she turned her back on you. And at the beginning, that's the reason we're given. Later, it turns out that's not true because she knows that, screwing around doesn't disqualify you. You can do that. It's fine. It's not a problem. But then she should have known that earlier. But the early part of the story was written that, no, that's the reason, and she knows that's the reason, and everybody knows that's the reason. And Mr. Mega Chad purposely seduced her so she could be part of his team. So the goddess, completely hates her and turns her back on her for that reason. But then later, everybody knows, oh no, that's not the reason. The author clearly had a change of heart. And then rather than go back and rewrite that and kind of change what was going on, it's kind of left it in, but it's really glaring how we go from there to this is the reason, this is why these characters did these things, to no, it's a different reason, that's fine, that's completely irrelevant. This is the new reason that it all happened. Never mind the things that we talked about previously. And that was really, really glaring. Because she would have known that's not why. He would have known that wasn't going to work. So there was no reason to seduce her in the first place. So it's just weird. That part was weird. And makes a lot of that, what we read about her, just completely fluff. So very, very strange. Don't like. Hate her character. And then right off the heels of that, she inadvertently betrays the main character. So I don't like her for that. One, she's stupid, and she sacrificed her entire future, supposedly or not, depending on where in the book you're going for the reasons as to why she is or isn't doing something or is or isn't qualified for something. So she did or didn't sacrifice their entire life earlier, and then she like betrays the main character. She's just stupid. She's just really, really stupid, and I hope she dies. I have a hunch they're gonna make her the main character's love interest, though, later on. I hope that's not true. That would be kind of cringe. That they try to have like some redemption arc and they fall in love, or I hope that is not where they're going with this. But it kind of feels like they're putting her more in towards the dark side, and then she might wind up being either. I don't think she'd be a villain, but she might be like a damsel in distress kind of thing, or an ally who the main character has to like team up with and then like get close to again. I hope that's not where it's going, but I suspect it's going. Now, on the bright side, that section is very, very small. There's not that many chapters with her as the main POV, but I just don't like reading about her. I think she's an idiot. And then there's Mr. Mega Chad. Mr. Mega Chad and his girlfriend disappear out of the book completely. But they should have made it to. They should have made it to the place the main character is later on, but they apparently never got there? Question mark? We're not really sure what happened to them, especially in light of the big event that occurs later, with that area being kind of overrun. I have a hunch they're gonna like pop up later as like supervillains or something, hunting the main character again. So that's kind of annoying. I think that's their role. And since they don't fill that role yet, we just never heard from them again until they pop up later as a problem. So I can kind of see that coming a mile away, and I hope that's not a thing either. But I suspect it is. So the three side characters they introduced, I don't like. And I hope they either never see them ever again, or they do something a lot more interesting with them, because it's kind of yuck. But overall, yeah, I liked the book. I liked it. I have to say I liked it. And I can't wait for the next one, which is apparently scheduled to release, I want to say in December. December 6th. Yep, December 6th. Good old sacrifice here. Though, not gonna lie, looking at this, I'm very confused as to who these characters are on the cover of book 2. Like, please, dear God, don't tell me that's our main character. With like the super pale, crying blood kind of thing. I hope that's not. I hope that better not be him. That's all I can say. That absolutely better not be him. Either way, interesting indeed. Hope you enjoy the book as well, and I'll see you next time. Take care, buddy.